When we talk about the first coins of ancient India or the introduction of coinage, we should remember that this was a long process and coinage developed gradually. So in order to understand this process, we have to start our story way back in the Indus Valley Civilization. So from whatever evidence which we presently have, it appears that Indus Valley Civilization did not have coinage. Although there are precious metals in the shape and size of coins, but the fact that there was no symbols or inscriptions written on them and they did not follow any standard weight. So in all probability, coinage has not been developed yet. Now when we move to the Vedic period and particularly the early Vedic period, we find that the story is more or less the same. In the early Vedic period, from the reading of the Rig Veda, it appears that there was no coinage, but there was barter system. And when the barter system was impracticable, we find that cows were used as a medium of exchange. But using cows as a medium of exchange also created some problems. So for example, if the price of an item is half a cow, it is not possible to pay the price. So in order to tackle this, we find that there was this use of precious metals. Now in the early Vedic period, from the evidence which we have, we can say that silver was not known. And in the later Vedic period also, we find that there is only a single reference to silver that appears in a later Vedic text. And here also, it is not used in the sense of a medium of exchange, and it is used in the sense of a jewelry. So this suggests that in the Vedic period in general, most likely silver was not known. Copper was known, but copper was not used as a medium of exchange. So this leaves us with gold. Gold, as we learn from the Vedic literature, was recognized as the most precious metal. And there were different forms of gold that were known. And most likely, this gold was obtained from the rivers of Punjab in gold dust form. And they were stored in small bags. Now, we all know that it would be quite difficult to carry these bags. So we find that these gold dust were melted into small gold ingots. Now these ingots, gold ingots, were called Hiranyapind in the Vedic literature. And apart from the Hiranyapind, we find that there is also this term Nishk that appears. Now there are some scholars who believe that this was the coin of the Vedic period. But when we analyze the term or the reference where Nishk appears, we find that it had a specific weight and size, but it was not a coin. This can be seen from the reference that comes in the Vedic literature when we are told that Rudra is wearing a Nishk. So here in this reference, it is quite apparent that it was used as an ornament. And it also appears that Nishk was not issued by any authority and there was no guarantee. So it was not a coin in the modern sense. Now when we move to the later Vedic period, we find that apart from the term Nishk, there is also the term Shataman, Pad and Suvarna. These were all gold pieces and they had a specific weight and size. But they were also not coins, because what we find is that the reference where these terms are mentioned comes when a king is giving gift to the priests. And apart from this, we also know that gold was quite precious during this period. So the gold pieces of these different denominations were not used in regular transaction. So most likely in the later Vedic period also, there was no concept of coinage. Now this situation would not remain same for long, because what we find from the period of 6th century BC onwards, that now there is some coins that are beginning to appear, particularly in literary sources. So for example, we have the reference from Pāṇini's Ashtadhyayi. Then there is also reference from Jataka stories. In the later period, we have Kautilya's Arthashastra that talks about different coins. And apart from these literary sources, we have also evidence from archaeological sources as well. So from all this, it is quite apparent that 6th century BC onwards, coinage has been introduced in the Indian subcontinent. Now, before talking about the different types of coins of this period, it is important to understand that every coin follows a standard weight. And in this period, there was also a standard weight that was followed. And this was the weight of a rati seed, or the weight of a gunja berry. So this standard weight of a rati seed was around 0.118 grams. Now the fact that the standard weight that was followed in the manufacturing of the coins of this period was the weight of a seed, this created a major problem. Now we can all see what the problem is. The weight of one seed was different from the weight of another. So what we find in the case of gunja berry is that the seed of this plant appears in a pod. So the seed which is closer to the center of the pod is heavier compared to the seed which is present on the extremities. So because of this, the weight of one rati seed is different from another rati seed. Now this weight difference created problems in manufacturing of the coin. So for example, we have coins of similar denomination. So two coins are of 32 rati weight. Now what happens is that since the weight of one rati would be slightly different from the weight of another rati seed, we find that these two 32 rati coins would also be different in weight. So this is the major problem that is there in the coins of this period. Now coming to the different types of coins of this period, we find that gold was used in the manufacturing of coin. And from the literary sources, we learn that nishk was the standard gold coin of this period. Now nishk was of a greater value, so it was not used in day-to-day transaction. And instead, its quarter denomination called Pād was used. And apart from the Pād coins, we have also Shatman coins that weighed 100 ratis. Then there was also a lower denomination coin called Mash that weighed 5 ratis. Now, what is interesting about the gold coins of this period is that we have great reference in literature about these gold coins. But up to this date, we have not found any single gold coins in the different hoards that are found belonging to this period. So this makes the evidence quite perplexing and also quite mysterious that we have the literary reference, but there is no archaeological reference. Now, apart from gold, we find that in this period, the most important development that took place in terms of coinage was the introduction of silver and copper currency. And in the language of the historians or archaeologists, we find that there is a special terms that is used for these types of coins. The term is punch marked coins, and the name is because of the manufacturing process of this coin. So first we have small bits, rectangular bits that were cut from a sheet of metal. The sheet could be of silver or copper. And after the cutting of these small rectangular bits, we find that symbols were then punched or stamped on them. So there was different punches for different symbols. So because of this, the name is punch marked coins. Now this rectangular shape of this coin is quite unique because most of these coins were of this shape. But when we look at other cultures, we find that this was not the case. Most of the coins of other culture were in round shape, but here the situation was quite different. Now you have also noticed while looking at these different punch marked coins is that these coins are not in perfect rectangle. That is because in order to conform to a desired weight, some bits were clipped from the corner. So that is why they are not in a perfect rectangular form. Now coming to the different denomination of punch marked coins, we learn from literary sources that the heaviest was called Shatman. Shatman weighed 100 ratis and it was also used for gold as well. Now what is interesting about the Shatman type coin is that we have also some archaeological evidence of it. So from Takshila, we have found these types of coins. These are called bent bar coins. And the interesting thing about these coins is that when these coins were weighed, they were approximately 100 ratis. So most likely these bar bent coins were the Shataman type coins of the literary sources. Apart from the Shataman coins, we have the standard type coin of this age, which was called Karshapan or Pan. The term Pan appears in Kautilya's Arthashastra. Now, the weight of Karshapan was different in silver and in copper. So, Karshapan of silver weighed 32 ratis and Karshapan of copper weighed 80 ratis. Then we also find is that there were lower denomination of Karshapan. So, half Karshapan was called Ardh or Bhag. Then we have the quarter Karshapan, which was called Pad. Then we have Mash, which was 1/16th of a Karshapan. The lowest denomination was called Kakani, and it was 1/64th of a Karshapan. Now, another important point about this period we should remember is that the price of silver was quite high. So, in the Jatakas, we are told that 1 unit of gold was equal to 7 units of silver. Now, this is quite high if we compare it to the present day. In the present day, we find that 1 unit of gold is around 76 units of silver. So you can see how high the value of silver was during this period. And what we find in general about the punch-marked coins is that these punch-marked coins continued up to the Mauryan period. It was only after the introduction of the Bactrian coins of the Indo-Greek we find that further development in the coinage of ancient India took place. Now in this video, I have not talked about the different theories and the debate that is going on regarding the introduction of punch-marked coins in ancient India. You can watch that video here when it will be uploaded on my second channel. Thank you for watching.